smile.
So, my dear brothers and sisters, today I just want again to continue with what I started yesterday. And the context again is St. Paul's letter, second letter to the Thessalonians. The context of this letter actually is St. Paul trying to correct what he had written, not correcting, but trying to correct an impression of the first letter to the Thessalonians. Because there are some passages in that first letter where he talked about the parousia, which is the second coming of Christ. And he was talking about consoling those who had lost their loved ones. He said people were asking a lot of questions, where did their loved ones go to? And St. Paul says that, just as Christ rose from the dead, that as his second coming is going to bring about the resurrection of all those who have died. And because of that, because St. Paul talked about this parousia, the second coming of Christ, there was a lot of misinterpretations. And even some people posing to be St. Paul, wrote to the Thessalonians, writing another letter and talking about this second coming and saying it is coming soon, it is going to be very soon. So there was a lot of misinterpretation that some people, Thessalonians, did not want to work again. They were just waiting for this time. They were not going to work, they were not doing anything, they were just waiting because they were thinking that the second coming of Christ is very near. And St. Paul is warning against these fake prophecies. And he's warning against such people. And he said, at the beginning of these words, he says, "In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we urge you, brothers and sisters, to keep away from any of the brothers who refuses to walk or to live according to the traditions that we passed to you." Okay, they're refusing to walk, and they forgot everything about the tradition, what everything was passed over to them. And it says, you know how you were supposed to imitate us. You have to be imitators of us. And this is how tradition works, that we receive from our forefathers, from our fathers, and our fathers receive from their grandfathers, their grandfathers receive from their great-grandfathers. So the tradition passing on from generation to generation like that. But then, it is so easy, and this is what happens to the Thessalonians, that they forgot about the tradition, what they received from Paul. And they were paying attention to other prophecies that were coming up. You read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 2, where St. Paul is straightly saying to the people that there are people who came and wrote in my name, yet I was not the one writing. And that is why at the end of this first reading, he's saying, this is my own writing. This is really what I wrote. It is not from those ones. No, this is my writing, and I'm signing on this writing as Paul, the apostle. So, again, about fake prophecies. And this is still what we have today. Unfortunately, people do not still hold on to the tradition. What did they receive from the very beginning? It's really, especially when you go through some of these, I was trying to reflect on many of the things that have been happening. Let's see, even the time of the coming of the Protestant Reformation. Okay, there in 1517, Martin Luther started the Lutheran Church. And then after that, the Calvinists came under John Calvin and Zwingli in I think 1530s. And after that, we had the Anglicans by Henry VIII, and that was around 1536. And then after that, we had the Presbyterians under John Knox, and then we had later on, even in the 17th century, we had the Baptists under John Smith. And then the Pentecostals only came up even in the 19th century, the 19th or 20th century. I'm not really sure about that. But then when you think about all this and you see all of these started with Martin Luther around the 16th century, which is 1,500 years after Christ. So you think about this 1,500 years, what happens? What happens? If there was no tradition, if there was no handing over from generation to generation, how would the Protestant Reformation have started? That's a very big question. And you see all these churches, all these Protestant churches, you realize that they have founders. Okay, I've just given you the name of some of the founders. Now, come to the Catholic Church. Who founded the Catholic Church? Is there any human name? You realize there is none. There is no human name associated with the Catholic Church. Just that it started right from the very beginning of Christ, when Christ has risen from the dead, and that has been the tradition that we still follow right up to this moment. And I think this is a question that everybody should ask themselves, especially as Christians. It doesn't matter what denomination you belong to. Always ask yourself, where did I start? When did I start? When did my founder, the founder of my congregation or the founder of my church, when did he live? And what was handed down to him? Where did he pick his tradition from? Where did he come from? And is he connected with the apostles? Or he's just coming up with things? And we have now thousands and thousands of churches and denominations. People who are claiming to have the truth. Just last year, there was a prophet in Ghana, in West Africa, who said that was called Prophet Ebonoa. Prophet Ebonoa. If you type about him on Google, you see what he did. But he was saying that on the 25th of December 2025, recently, it's not a long time ago, he said that there will be a flood that is going to consume the whole earth, that is going to sweep out the whole earth. And he needed to build an ark like Noah. And people gave him a lot of money. People who wanted to be saved. And they gave a lot of money to this prophet. And what happened? The 25th came and passed, no flood. And then later on, he bought a very good car, a very expensive car. On the 31st of December last year, he was arrested because of these lies that he had told, and he had embezzled a lot of money from people, and he was trying to run away to another place, and then he was arrested. This is what happened. Not long time ago, in the year 2000, before some of you were born, in the year 2000 in Uganda, there was a prophecy that the world was going to come to an end on the 31st of December, and that the year 2000 is going to be, that is the end. And these people gathered a lot of followers in the church and burnt themselves alive. And though everybody died except the prophet himself, who escaped through another route. Until today, he's still running away. And there have been many, many prophets. I was just reading some of them yesterday, some in Zimbabwe, some in Ghana, others giving people snakes to eat, others telling people to eat grass, and people will still go and do that in the name of they believe in this prophecy. They forget about the tradition. What was the tradition we were given? It's what we should always ask. Where did we come from? We heard the gospel on Sunday. You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. The power of the underworld will not overtake you. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever thing you bind on earth will be considered bound in heaven. Whatever thing you loose on earth will be considered loose in heaven. Are we still attached to that? That is the big mistake people still make, and they do not see. How can we trace our denomination? How can we trace our tradition back to that? Back to Jesus. It's just people just coming up and they claim to be prophets and claim to say the truth. And because they perform miracles and signs, people are getting close to them and trusting in them. Remember Jesus saying today in the gospel, and he's condemning the Pharisees. He says they are like whitewashed tombs. On the outside, they claim to be very good, looks very good from the outside, but inside is full of rotten bones. This is what is happening. It looks all good from outside. The signs and miracles look to be real, but there are many of those which have been already proven to be staged. The pastor pays money to people. I was there even in Kenya when those things happened, that women, especially prostitutes, will come and say, I was paid this amount of money to come and pretend somebody who is sick, and then the pastor prayed over me, and then I got healed. And then later he did not give me the balance of the money he was supposed to pay me. And then this woman comes out on the social media and they say, this pastor is fake because he paid me money and he did not finish the balance. And things like that happening. And yet people are still holding on to that. And St. Paul warns against that. He says, how many of you have deviated from the tradition that we received? Think about be imitators of us, as we are imitators of Christ. And this is what we must hold on to. Let us never be fooled by all these prophecies about the end time and all these things. All that the church teaches us is to be faithful to Christ. Keep faithful to the sacraments that He has given to us. Love one another. Love God. Keep your prayer times going. Every other thing, we need to forget about that. We have to keep our eyes focused on Christ. Otherwise, we get distracted by a lot of false prophecies, which Jesus already told us, warned us about. That in the end times, there will be a lot of people who would come up and say, I am He. But be careful about that. Let us keep our eyes focused on Christ. Let us keep away from things that are going to put fear into us. This is the strategy that the devil uses. Put fear into them so that they would hold on to you because of fear. No, fear does not come from God. Fear comes from the evil one. Let us continue, therefore, to remain faithful to Christ by remaining faithful to His church that He established.
Kiss us, mother, kiss your children. Bring God's blessings from above. With your mantle blue enfold us in your gentle holy love. See the darkness dissipating, hear the trumpet echoing, Satan's rage